Hey everyone, this is Lisa and Nancy of Big Blend Radio, and today we're sitting in the dining room of Rosevine-Inn. It is a wonderful bed and breakfast, also an extended stay suite, and we're sitting with the innkeepers, Rebecca and Bert, and we had a good breakfast with them, and we're having a wonderful stay in the Texas Legends room. We're sleeping amongst the legends up here. I know. Well, you know, we get around. So let's start with you, Rebecca. Tell us about starting the B&B. Was it a B&B before, and what led you here?
No, this was not a B&B before. We built this house.
Oh, wow.
In 1986, we decided that we wanted to open a B&B after taking a trip on our 5-year wedding anniversary to the Northeast Coast.
Oh.
And we stayed in a lot of B&Bs, and when we got home, the place I was working closed, and I had to decide what to do for a living, and we decided that doing a B&B would just be so much fun, and, you know, so we had the inspiration from staying in the B&Bs on the East Coast.
Wow. And so how many years now? It's in what?
We opened in 1986.
Wow.
So we've been in business, this is our 34th year.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
Bert, do you enjoy it?
Absolutely.
I knew it. I knew it.
Alrighty then.
We built because we could not find a property that met the criteria we needed because of zoning regulations, etc. We had to be in a certain area, and
right.
And there was nothing available at the time.
But you're in this historic district, and it's the brick, like the brick streets, and you've got, you know, known, this area is known here in Tyler, Texas, everyone. So we're in the northeast section of Texas, in the Piney Woods.
In the Piney Woods.
On the brick street.
And my grandmother lived on this street in the block, two blocks down.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so we were familiar with this area.
So were you from Tyler originally?
No, I grew up in Midland.
Okay.
Which is in West Texas.
Okay.
And Bert grew up in Oklahoma.
Ah.
And
so you're an Okie?
No.
No. Oh, no.
I've never been to hell, but I've been to Oklahoma.
No, I can't marry somebody that's from Oklahoma, but he was born in Texas.
Okay.
So,
Fort Worth.
He was born in Fort Worth.
Okay, Fort Worth, not that far from here.
No.
But he grew up in Oklahoma.
You get a lot of people coming here from Dallas-Fort Worth area.
You do, from all over the world, actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What is the main thing that people come here for? The main reason to come to Tyler? Today we discovered it's a whole lot of roses to hang out. You know, there's a lot of roses here. It's the Rose Capital.
Rose Capital of
America, which is very cool because you're not that far from Shreveport, and that's where the American Rose Society sent their gardens and centers.
Good knowledge.
We've been there.
Have you been to Tulsa, Oklahoma?
No.
Another fantastic rose garden.
Oh, well, let's go.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Of course. Why not?
But Tyler's the Rose Capital of America because Tyler used to grow like 80% of the roses that were distributed to places to sell rose bushes to grow in your garden. It's not the cut roses that you think that the florists use. It's actually rose bushes. And the soil in this area is a sandy loam, which is perfect for growing roses.
It also grows azaleas, tomatoes, onions, Christmas trees, blueberries, anything you can think of.
It's beautiful. I mean, just driving around, you know, Nancy and I have been in the desert for a while, and so now we're getting like the green intoxication.
Have you been in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights?
Yes, and we still drink wine.
Very good.
But it's really magical out here because of the green, and then all the lakes. We were at Tyler Lake. Or Lake Tyler today.
Lake Tyler.
And then Tyler State Park today. I mean, it's really beautiful birding. We've seen all kinds of birds, and it's just really beautiful out here. So I'd say a lot of people coming here, but I saw there's like a azalea festival.
Yes, in the spring.
And the Rose Festival, I know that's in the fall, and it'll be next year, obviously, with the whole COVID stuff. But I went into the Rose Museum today, and I had no idea. This is it's like Mardi Gras, this whole Rose Queen thing.
It's kind of. It is. It's a big show.
It's a debutante.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big show.
Okay, so I really had no idea how big it is.
Yeah.
So you guys must pack up here early. Like, people need to reserve their rooms
way in advance.
Way in advance, right?
Absolutely.
Some people have been coming for 25 years, so we're booked up with the same people.
I
Wow.
mean, you think about it.
Hmm.
I mean, it's really neat because you've got your upstairs, right? And then the rooms, the themes, it's just really well done. And I don't know how you do the balancing of the decor, but it's like perfect. Like, it's not overdone. You know what I mean? Like, if I did it, it would be, we'd have a problem.
It would be called clutter.
Ooh. Well, our theme's the 1930s because all of the houses we acquired on the other street are built in the 30s, and the original house here was. So
okay.
The theme is 1930s, so that's why you have music legends from the 30s and Hollywood and sports legends and Texas legends. All of those people would have been alive in the 30s.
See, there we go. And the music's playing. It's really cool. It's tasteful. So you built the B&B, but who had the property before? Because I heard there was like a fire and some guy went to Hollywood and never came back, or something. Who's the dude?
Well, Robert Pope was the previous owner. His parents actually owned the property. They were Dr. Pope and Annelle Bullock Pope, and they couldn't have any children, and then they supposedly adopted Robert Pope. And through the years, we've had people come, and one of the stories is that he was really Dr. Pope's love child in Dallas.
Oh, here. Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. This is starting to sound like, familiar territory.
And then he thought he was adopted all of his life, and he thought he was not probably good enough. And he was pretty well spoiled, and so when they both died in the mid-60s, he inherited, at that time, quite a bit. I think he inherited about $10,000, and the estate was worth about $10,000.
Oh.
So he went through $20,000 in the heyday of the 60s when there was drugs and whatnot. And I understand he didn't really do drugs, but he sold them.
Oh.
And so he got caught once.
Oopsie.
He got caught twice.
Uh-oh.
Then when you get caught the third time,
Bye-bye.
you go to the big house.
Oh, he went to the big house.
He didn't. On the day they're coming to get him, he got the gun out and ended it.
Oh,
wow.
But
okay.
prior to that,
That was in the 80s.
that was 1986, the year we opened.
Oh, wow.
We were trying to find photos of the family and
Wow.
information.
Wow.
So, but prior to that, when he inherited the house, as he ran out of money, the little ladies on the other street all knew the gossip. Nobody ever said that anybody was fooling around with anybody. They just said, well, so-and-so went inside Mrs. Jones's gate. And then you go,
Jones says she's at it again.
And so everybody knew everything. So they had seen a U-Haul here, I think 3 days before the fire, and he had loaded it with all of the antiques, the fireplace mantle, everything. And so the scuttlebutt was, he loaded it, left for Santa Fe, and then the house burned down 3 days later on December 5th.
How weird, but he has all the stuff.
1969. Well, his cousin verified that he did do it.
Oh.
She said she went to visit him in Santa Fe, and she said Granddaddy's mantle and his chair were in his living room, and Patty confirmed it all.
Wow. So you got scandal.
Scandal.
Well done.
Good.
Well, so now you've got the property on the other side. I also know that you have extended stay suites, and you talk about people moving here. So I know you also do real estate. So are people? It's like, when we were in Colorado, people are bailing Denver. Are people bailing like the cities and wanting to come out this area?
Texas is growing at a rapid pace. We're probably 30 million. We were 22 million not long ago. We've already hit 30, and all the Metroplex areas, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Austin, Houston, as they overcrowd with millions, they're flooding up to East Texas because we're the last
frontier.
Yeah, the last least populated area, and they're increasing our waterfront property.
Wow.
Acreage is now $8, $10, $12, $14,000 an acre. It wasn't that way 10 years ago.
Besides moving out of the Metroplex, a lot of people are moving here from California.
Oh yeah, everyone's getting out.
Californians are coming this way in a flood.
A lot of Californians. It's very interesting. Yeah.
They buy full price on your waterfront. They don't even negotiate.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
The Bay Area is like, no way.
Yeah,
I know a lot of Californians that moved down Louisiana way too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like this whole shift across. I think it's going to happen a lot, but that's interesting. So, you know, does a lot of that happen when they come here? They stay at the B&B and then start going, you know, I like this area, and then maybe we'll check it out for living?
No, it's more that they're already thinking of moving.
Oh, wow.
And that sometimes they stay at the B&B, but
I develop them as real estate leads because that's part of what I do.
Yeah.
I help sell lots of people.
Now it's more people from from like the Metroplex. They'll come and stay because we're only at 2 hours from the Dallas area, 2.5 hours from Fort Worth area, and they'll come stay and they're like, oh, this would be a nice place to live. That happens.
Well, we get a lot of 30-day people that want to come explore whether they want to live here, so they come stay for 30 days, and they may not buy when they first come, but then they come back the next year, and then they stay another 30 days, and so we go on more real estate adventures, and then usually they purchase.
Oh, wow. So the extended stay, that's across the street?
There's 9 houses on the other street on Sunny Lane that was named after Sunshine Pope, who was part of the Pope family. And at one time, the street was called the Vatican because they had so many members of the Pope family there that they gave the lots to the south to the 3 Pope boys, and so they all built houses.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Well, this is cool. All right. So now let's talk about your breakfast because that was quite delicious.
Thank you.
Yes.
Our breakfast, we usually have fresh, not usually, we always have a fresh fruit and with no like sauce or anything on it. It's just fruit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when they do their breakfast at the B&Bs, try to make them real fancy and stuff. I don't do that because there's a lot of people that can't eat a lot of sugar and stuff, so I try to not do that. So that's just my thing. And then we always have some kind of entree, an egg dish, or I do a banana French toast that's pretty good, and so we do that, and then muffins and
those biscuits.
Frittatas.
The frittata was
frittata is what we had this morning.
Everything's cooked almost from scratch.
Oh man, and those biscuits, those muffins.
Yeah.
Seriously, that was a big meal.
Yeah,
they'll carry you for a long time through the day.
And the biscuits this morning I did where I got that recipe from a friend of ours that lives in Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh.
I have never been able to do biscuits very well, and we went to stay with her one time, and she made these biscuits, and I was like, oh my gosh, Phyllis, these biscuits are delicious. Would you give me the recipe? She gave it to me, and it's not a hard recipe. So I don't know why I was never able to do it before, but they're called baking powder biscuits.
They're one of my favorites.
Yeah,
that was
really
good. That was
good.
I'm like, dude.
Legendary, wouldn't you say?
Yes, they were darn good. Darn delicious.
Yeah.
So the brick streets, is one of the things that Tyler's known for, is having all these brick streets, you know, and that's something historic, and we've seen it in a few places in Texas, and it's kind of I don't know, coming from the West Coast, you don't see brick streets that much, you know, not in the desert.
It's one of the largest brick street systems in the country.
In Tyler.
Tyler.
The Tylers.
But there used to be a plant in Corsicana, which is about 2 hours west of here, that a lot of the red brick came from. They built they had a lot of street brick, and it said Corsicana on it. And you used to see that all the time. You don't see those very much. But then where did the brick here they
may have come from Henderson. You got to remember that Tyler.
No, but what about that video where they're making the brick as they lay it?
That was just a guide that shows you how they did it in the 1930s.
So they were laying the brick.
Right, as they were making the brick as they laid it in the street.
It's like Play-Doh.
They kind of had a little. It was like a mini railroad system that they had this car, you know, on a railroad, but they pulled it wasn't a permanent. It was the way for them to move the cart. So.
Wow.
But Tyler prospered during the 1930s because they discovered oil just a little bit east of here, the Daisy Bradford number 2.
Okay.
And then that put Tyler on the map.
Okay.
And
the
oil.
Texas oil fields.
So during the Depression, Tyler actually boomed while the rest of the country was reeling.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
So that's why you have so many brick streets, the pretty houses.
The houses are pretty.
And the oil was king.
Oh wow. Okay. So that's the backstory of it.
That's why you had H.L. Hunt and all of the oil people that came here that were big gamblers. They took chances and then things prospered. Okay. And it also won World War II because you have to have fuel to run equipment to the front lines. So it was critical to have.
And the airplanes.
Yeah, and you've got you have a memorial museum on that, and aviation memorial museum.
Very interesting. They do a good job out there.
Yeah, at Pounds Field.
Okay.
Jack Pounds was the first guy from Tyler that died in World War II, so they named the airport after him.
Oh, okay. So you've got history, obviously. Every place has history, right?
Lots of it.
So what about when people come out in regards to going out to eat? Where are some places? Tell us what the food scene is like. I know, I'm just sitting with all these menus.
One of our favorite places is Bernard's, and Bernard Gaultier owns it, and he is a French man that settled in Tyler, and he started his restaurant. He worked for another man named Giuseppe, and then decided to open his own restaurant, and he's been in business, Bernard, probably 25 years, and does a fantastic job. His food is very delicious. It's higher end, but as we know, the French are famous for their sauces. So he has steaks and pastas and seafood. He always does. He doesn't have seafood on his menu, but he always has fresh seafood for his off the menu. Whatever he can get fresh that day is what's on for. And then he uses his sauces, and it is really, really good. There's also Bruno's, which is a place down the street, and they've been in business since the
1976.
76. And a man named Jay Rumbelow, his parents started that restaurant, and then after they passed away, he took it over, and it's good.
Sounds like you've got
Italian, and then there's Mario's, which is one of our favorite places.
So a lot of Italian food going on.
But it's owned by
Mo and Vernique. It's a restaurant that you expect it to be Italian. It's got the checkered tablecloths, all the movie stars, pictures all over the wall.
Oh, cool.
They're playing Frank Sinatra's I Did It My Way, and
cool.
It's a good atmosphere.
Wow. So because when you think about Texas, people always think, okay, got Mexican food, Tex-Mex, and barbecue.
Well, we do have all of that.
Okay.
In volume.
In volume. Okay.
But we have Greek.
Oh, wow.
There's Potpourri House.
So we can eat around the world here.
Yeah, Potpourri House started off as a tea room.
Oh.
In this neighborhood.
35 years ago, right here on Front Street in the Yellow House.
Oh.
And then it gradually got larger and larger. And then in 80, about the time we built this, the economy had just crashed and oil went from 40 down to 10, December of 85. In December of 85, and the Potpourri House took advantage of, at that time, the Michaels store closed.
Wow.
And consolidated to a smaller location out South Broadway. So they bought an entire Michael's store.
Oh my gosh,
turned it
that's
into
huge.
a restaurant. It is. I think it was 30,000 square feet. And then
right, and a gift and
did a gift shop around the
jewelry
perimeter.
and clothes store. So the restaurant is interior, and then surrounding it is the
they're smart.
the gift shop, and cool.
Wow.
So it kind of has an English theme.
Mhm. Now, you guys taking a day off? I know.
Never.
I know. I love this question though because it's
like
just,
what?
I know, but Priscilla, our little sock monkey, said you guys get a day off. Okay, a full day off. She's paying for everything.
Cool.
Now, what are you going to do? Just hanging out here in a staycation because you're still on call because you're running in real estate. Someone's going to come buy a house suddenly, like,
Oh,
hey.
they do.
I know they
Or
do,
rent
but they're
one.
just going to call you and say, okay, your staycation's over. But you have 24 hours just to have fun here. What are you going to do for fun here in Tyler, Texas? What do you guys like to do to enjoy it? I know it's you guys get, I know innkeepers.
We will go get on our pontoon boat on Lake Tyler.
You have, excuse me, of a pontoon?
Yes, a pontoon boat.
Awesome.
And then I'm the captain.
Okay.
She's first mate. She serves all the drinks.
What do you, let's, I want to hear the drink menu.
My favorite on the boat is a Chardonnay called 19 Crimes. And it's a hard chard, and when it's real cold, it's
nice and
so
crisp.
nice on the boat, because you're out.
Cool. So Chardonnay on the river. Okay.
So Lake Tyler's a pretty lake, and it's nice to be able to go out on the lake.
We went out there and saw a big egret and all kinds of butterflies, and actually we did have some wine out there.
Oh.
Well, we did.
Where did you go? Did you go to the Lake Tyler Marina?
I don't know. There was a thing called, we followed the little GPS thing, said where to go on what was that street we were on? There was a little marina thing, and we just went to a picnic bench and just sat down and
kept saying,
filmed the
"Turn
water,
left."
and it was and then they have little cabins. There was a really interesting old billboard talking about tobacco.
That was the Boulders.
Yeah, you went to, it's the newest
Boulders.
marina. It's the Boulders. They've spent millions.
Well, they've got a cool little thing on the outside there. Yeah.
It's very popular. He's pumping the money in it. There's no doubt. He's still got a ways to go, but he's done a lot.
It's a big RV campground, is what it is. But he's built some cabins, and he's building some platforms to put yurts on.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Cool, and there's real estate going on there.
Absolutely.
He's smiling about this.
Waterfront property is expensive.
I went and looked online just before we had our chat, and I was like, where exactly were we, And I saw online that the city actually owns the lake, right? And
That's correct.
They own the land around the lake.
And then that was where the HGTV Dream House was.
It is, and I can take you in the pontoon boat to see it up close.
When are we going?
Well, in an hour.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what your plans are, but we could go tomorrow evening.
Okay.
Because it's so warm, it's nice to go a little later in the evening.
It's
if you go out
beautiful out
about
there.
6,
Yeah.
and actually, watch the sunset. It's very pretty.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm down.
So there's another portion then. Obviously, there's the East Lake.
There's 2 lakes.
There's 2 lakes. They're old,
but they're
called
friends.
Old Lake Tyler and East Lake Tyler.
Old Lake Tyler was built in 1948, and then the new lake, they cut a canal, so to speak, that's fairly narrow, and then you got to the new lake that was created later in the 60s, and it was the major water supply for Tyler. Of course, now we have Lake Palestine to the south, which is huge.
I heard that I'm not to call it Lake Palestine.
Not Palestine, that's correct. Like Palestine. Palestine is across the pond.
Over there on the other side of Africa.
I know.
Sorry.
I kind of know where Africa is after living there.
Oh, so you live there? Cool.
Yeah, in Kenya and South Africa. Yeah.
Oh, you lived with Barack then?
Well, no, his daddy.
Oh, his daddy was there. All right, and his mama.
Well, who's your daddy?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I always say. Who's your daddy?
I know. But we didn't really meet his daddy.
No.
But he was there.
How about his brother?
No, I don't think we met his brother either. No, we left at a certain time, and then we went to England and South Africa.
How fun.
Yeah, so the lake experience is a big deal. Do you guys like take picnics and go out there and just...
Yes, we have a little barbecue that's on the boat. It's stainless steel.
You have a boat barbecue?
Yes, you can put it on there and we can cook bratwurst and, whatever you want on the edge of the boat while we're in the middle of the water.
So when people come here, is that one of their main things that they do is just to go out on the lake?
No.
Oh.
They don't get that unless I agree.
Oh. Well,
No, when people come here, they come out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area or the Houston, San Antonio. They come to get away for the weekend. So by the time they get here on Friday, they're through with work. We send them to dinner. A lot of times they go to the game room in the barn, the tree house.
Yeah, we got to go play in there, you have a tree house.
There's a tree house behind the barn.
We need to go in the tree house. Priscilla, our little monkey, needs to go to the tree house.
Priscilla needs to go to the tree house and then maybe serve you a glass of wine or even a Coke in a bottle. Or a Topo Chico in a bottle. No high fructose corn syrup.
Oh, we don't like that.
No, we want Mexican Coke.
Oh, yes, there's a lot of sugar in there.
Yeah,
sugar.
We can burn it.
Okay, we're burning the sugar. Okay.
So a lot of people come for the first day on Friday and they hang around here. Before COVID, they would go to movies or restaurants, but now we have to check everything, don't we?
Yeah.
And then the next day, we send them on to, we have an antique mall downtown, Old City Antique Mall. It's 22,000 square feet of memories and stuff, and so we send them there, and they go to the museums, they go to the zoo. There's Tyler State Park. There's a lot to do.
The state park is awesome.
It is.
That was really nice.
Are y'all going to go to the zoo while you're here?
I don't know time-wise.
Yeah,
we'll see what we can
really
do.
Nice zoo. I mean, I'm not that big on going to the zoos, but the one in Tyler's, it's not too large, but it's very well done.
So long as they take care of the animals.
It would be kind of like a very small San Diego zoo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where they're in natural habitats, and it's a foundation.
Yeah. Last time we went to the San Diego Zoo, the warthogs escaped.
That was fun.
Cool.
We didn't do it.
Did you find the warthog?
Well, we just ran around going
the hill and watched them run around and watched people
with
run
their little
and try to
tails.
catch them.
Their little tails,
We're like, go warthog, go.
But that's cool about the antiques. I love that. The antiques. That's really cool.
Back to the zoo. The zoo was started by a man named D.K. Caldwell, and he was one of the oil-rich men in Tyler, and they didn't have any children, isn't that right? No, they did have children.
Yeah, they had Hayes.
But he wanted to do something for kids, and so right across the street and behind the house across the street was where he started his zoo.
It was in their backyard.
Yeah.
But in the 1930s, you had, quite a bit of land, so he built metal posts and chicken wire and whatnot, and pretty soon he had animals all across, and as he added them, there were more and more, and so then they finally said, I think we need to get an official location.
So he started the zoo in the location it is, and when we were kids, we'd come see my grandmother in the summertime, and we'd always go to the zoo, and at that time he had a little playground area. He had a train that went around and all that. But the neatest thing about that zoo is there was no charge to go to the zoo.
Oh, wow.
It was free, and it was free until about 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, and they had to...
And then because it was on a foundation, they used, of course, the money that they had in the bank, and when the interest rates went so low, they didn't have money to
keep on,
make it free anymore.
Oh.
So
that happens.
It does happen.
It happens. Yeah, we've seen it happen too.
From the 40s to the 2000s, it was a free zoo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty unusual.
It is very unusual.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it for kids. Now, did he have the Elephant Man?
The Elephant Man?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, there's elephants out there, and they do have it in natural habitat, and they're always improving on
that's
on that.
nice.
And they've got a pretty fabulous gift shop.
That's cool.
Yes.
So shopping is a deal here too.
Oh yeah.
Shopping. So the antique.
Shopping's big. People come to, and it's not as crowded here as it is in the Metroplex, of course, so it's easier to go shopping. So that's
Now, speaking of wine earlier, I saw that you
Yes.
have wineries out here.
we do.
That's important.
Very
We
important.
do. There's a winery south of town called Keeper's Hall that's started about when we started in the 80s, and has grown and grown and grown and grown, and they have a very nice winery now. And there's one that we just discovered west of town called Green Goat.
In Edom.
Green Goat?
Green Goat.
The Green Goat sounds like Gringo, but it's
Yes.
Green Goat
Green
Winery.
Goat Winery. And they have good wines. They have some fruit wines, but they also have just your regular whites and.
Interesting choice of name.
Yeah. Now, what about breweries? Does that have hit here? Like,
We do.
it's going across the country. It's like everywhere. It's like breweries and.
We have 2 here now.
Okay. Distilleries?
One, Keeper's Hall has a distillery.
Oh.
They do rum.
There you go, Nancy. Really happy now.
Whiskey and
Vodka.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And good. I like their whiskey. It's very good.
Oh, yeah?
That's my
then-
drink of choice.
I like tequila. I like whiskey. I like wine.
Rum.
I like it all.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So that's the only distillery I know of. An interesting thing about Keeper's Hall is until about 5 years ago, Tyler was a dry county, which means you couldn't buy alcohol in the county.
At all?
At all.
No wine.
No
We
wine.
were dry since the late 1800s.
Yes.
Well, that's
So,
How can you do that if you're getting pumping oil but no wine? You got
That's when Prohibition came in 1929
that was
and
one of
lasted
the
to
stupidest
1933.
things that has ever happened.
It was a huge experiment.
They had a law in Texas that if you had a Texas product, you could not restrict buying that product anywhere in Texas. So Keeper's Hall opened up a wine store and sold Texas wines. One of them was their wine, but they sold all the Texas-grown wines. Texas has become a very big state for wine.
Yeah.
And so they had the only wine store in town because nobody, you couldn't buy alcohol. So that was kind of, so they did really well with that until we finally passed our beer and wine, and so now you can go to the grocery store and buy wine.
It's an important thing as we travel because we always have wine on our radio shows, and we have wine at the end of the day. And
I have a really good friend that moved here, and she tells us a story. They went to stay at the La Quinta, and they were moving here from Louisiana, and he says, I'm going to go out and get some beer. Do you want some wine? And she said, yeah, just get me a red wine or something. And he comes back in about 30 minutes, and he says, our nightmare has come true. And she said, what? And he said, this is a dry county. We can't get it.
That is, I've learned now to start Googling, is there alcohol where we're going?
Yeah.
And now, if anybody looked at my search on Google, they'll think I'm a rip-roaring drunk.
Yeah.
But it's true, because everywhere you go, there's a different law of what you can get where and when. Remember, we got to Greeley, Colorado, and they're like, here, we're staying in this condo, we're working with the Visitor Bureau, and they're like, here, we're putting you in the condo, there's, grocery stores and all this. I was like, oh, Walgreens is right there, we can go get our wine, and everybody's laughing because they know we're rip-roaring winos. That's right. And we're going in Walgreens, and it's like almost closing time, and we don't know where we are, but it was definitely wine time and beyond wine time.
Right.
There's no wine, and they're looking at us like we're nuts, and we couldn't find wine, and that becomes a panic situation.
Panic.
Yes, but give everybody your website.
It's www.rosevine.com.
Rosevine.com. See, if you're going to go to the capital of roses in America, you must stay at the Rosevine. And, and you've got Vine Street.
That is exactly what
Sunny
we named
Street.
it.
I mean, what a cool,
That's why we named it Rosevine.
It's awesome.
Because we're the city of roses, and we're on Vine Street.
And the rose garden, the big rose garden. I mean, that's a big rose garden.
Yeah.
what, 5 minutes from here? Not even?
It's 1 mile.
1 mile.
Oh, okay, there you
You
go.
could walk.
Not right now, it's wine time.
Okay.
But in the morning I
Not
will.
when it's 100 degrees
Yeah,
outside,
it's a little warm.
But, you know.
Oh, well, thank you so much, you guys. It's been
Thank you.
awesome staying
Thank
here.
you.